everyone, Rarity-Share, and it's time for another reaction request. If you have a video that you'd like me to react to, check the description below. There's a link that'll take you to a Google document with all of the relevant information. So today we're looking at another death battle. It's Guts versus Dimitri. So this is Guts, the main character of Berserk, versus Dimitri from Fire Emblem Three Houses. I've never read or watched any version of Berserk, but Fire Emblem Three Houses is one of my favorite video games of all time. I played through the entire Black Eagles route of the game on stream, and off stream I've played both the Golden Deer and Blue Lions, and also the DLC. And I also played the Black Eagles for a second time on the hardest difficulty because I wanted to. So yeah, I've invested a lot of time into Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I know that game pretty well, I feel. Despite that, and despite not knowing a whole lot about Berserk, I kind of expect Guts to win this one. Just because what I do know is he's the main character. He's like in Berserk, from my impression of it as someone who hasn't read or watched any of it, is that it's this really gritty manga, and fairly dark, I think. So the main character or something like that, I imagine he's got to have the fortitude and ability to just really overcome and just channel that protagonist energy, and I just feel like that's going to give him an edge. And Dimitri, just to be honest, he's not really my favorite character. Like, he's not my least favorite character. I like him a lot more than I like Rhea. But, yeah, he, of the three lords, Edelgard, Claude, and Dimitri, definitely, he's a distant third. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, again, I don't know Guts, so it's hard to really say, but I feel like Guts has got to be the more, the one who has it better together, because Dimitri, I think the thing that I didn't like about it is just how angsty he got in his route. Like, just, he kind of fell apart. And it was the third route I played. I played Black Eagles first, of course, and then I played Golden Deer. And when I got to Blue Lions, it was interesting, like, just to see what a state he was in after the time skip. Like, it was then that I realized why Gilbert exists as a character. This character you only get on the Blue Lions route and not any of the others. He is there just because your lord, the guy who's supposed to be sort of the rallying point for all your characters, is kind of unable to lead for a good chunk of the route. He's just sort of not able to keep himself together. And I get that he's tortured, he's broken, but I mean, so many characters in that game are, and they're still able to put it all together. I mean, Edelgard, like, her whole existence has been torture and, like, just misery, just being groomed to be this thing, and she's still able to, like, formulate this plan and kind of turn to use the people who are using her, and just sort of work this out. And she never really shows it outwardly, her suffering, so it's just a different vibe. Dimitri, I don't know. I get that he has his fans. I mean, one of his biggest fans that I'm aware of is one of my Hololive Oshis, so I gotta respect that at least. But, and in terms of ability, Dimitri, like, he's a good unit, very good, in fact. So you could say he's pretty strong, and he does have a crest, so he's not just like a normal standard guy. He has this special innate thing that makes him stronger sometimes. So that's an ability. And he's got a pretty cool weapon, that spear. But I don't know, against a main character of an action manga and anime, I don't see it. Because, I mean, he's not the main character. Byleth is the chosen one. She's the one with the real power going on, and she's the one that destiny hinges on. Because, I mean, the choice that you make, that's who comes out on top. You can't really say that Dimitri defeats Edelgard, because, like, he only does if Byleth is there to support him. So, yeah, I just feel like the deck is a little bit stacked against him. And I think Guts probably will have this, though, again, I don't really know how power scaling works in Berserk. So I could be entirely wrong. Gotta admit that. From what I know of Fire Emblem and Dimitri, I'm going into this expecting he's going to lose. Anyway, that all said, let's finally get into this. Here we go.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp and Mint Mobile.
Rooster Teeth. Death Battle.
Guts, the brutal black swordsman of Berserk.
And Dimitri, the savage savior king from Fire Emblem. Vengeance is an ever-malicious force that can turn anyone into a broken, traumatized,
unstoppable one-man army. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
In the realm of Midland, life really sucks all around. Demons run rampant, villages get pillages, and a helpless elf fairy has become target practice for some thugs. Batter up!
Until walking into the torment comes a stranger clad in...
From my understanding, there isn't really like a
in his way with one
great
humongous sword.
Anime version of Berserk, is
too
there?
big to be called a sword, too massive and thick, more like a slab of raw iron that no normal
People
man
tend to
can
say that the
wield.
manga is the best way to
Man
consume
with a
it.
simple but fitting name. Guts.
But what is it that makes Guts so terrifying? Well, we're about to get into some really, really dork shit. Fair warning.
Born from his mother's
Yeah,
recently
that's
hanged
my...
corpse,
Oh,
Guts
okay.
was taken in by a mercenary band
Yeah, I knew it was dark.
Gambino.
Who definitely isn't winning Father of the Year. Gambino put Guts through the ringer, training him with swords way too big for him before putting him into live combat at only 9 years old.
Training with such large swords made Guts inhumanly strong, but he needed a different kind of strength to endure the horrendous abuse he suffered from Gambino.
So he murdered the bastard in self-defense. He deserved it, trust me. With no home or family to speak of, Guts aimlessly wandered for years as a lone mercenary.
Until he caught the eye of the ambitious Griffith. Impressed by Guts' bold battle prowess and blunt honesty, Griffith wanted him. So Guts joined his mercenary group, the Band of the Hawk.
Where Guts' gutsy fighting style made him the perfect captain. The dude was hardcore enough to fight 100 enemy soldiers on his own, and even helped end a 100-year-long war, all while earning respect and glory with Griffith and his group.
For the first time, Guts found true friends and comrades to rely on.
But when Griffith realized he couldn't keep Guts at his side, really, really bad things happened.
Upon the eclipse, Griffith summoned a bunch of demons, became a super demon himself, and sacrificed Guts' new friends to the abyss. If that wasn't bad enough,
This is the kind of stuff he has to contend with.
Guts to watch as his eye was split open and he was forced to tear off his own arm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really bad things.
Guts barely escaped with his life. He vowed to brutally murder Griffith and every demon, down to the last one. No small task, even for him.
And every big task needs even bigger weapons. Guts is
Does he get a new arm?
Butter is the enormous Dragon Slayer.
6.5 feet long and weighing over 300 pounds, Dragon Slayer is absurd. In Guts' hands, it can cleave through plated armor and even demons with skin of corundum, a real-life metal that is harder than steel.
And since Guts has made killing demons his favorite pastime, Dragon Slayer was exposed to so much demonic blood that it exists on the astral plane, meaning it can harm any supernatural monster. God,
Dimitri isn't supernatural,
Carries
so
a
that's not
collection of
gonna
explosives and
mean
throwing
much.
knives, but I'm partial to his mechanical arm. complete with a wondrous invention of a repeater crossbow and a secret cannon.
Yeah,
Okay, well, that's cool.
but they aren't as awesome as Dragon Slayer here.
So he's got ranged
Do
options.
it. Okay, the repeater crossbow is pretty cool. It can fire a volley of 4 to 5 bolts per second, making it the go-to option for mowing down groups of bad guys. And hey, if you gotta lose your hand, replacing it with a goddamn super gun is the way to go. Even demons are afraid of this thing. See ya, Snakeface!
With his collection of weapons and indomitable will, Guts slaughtered everyone and everything in his way.
Be it an army of trolls, a supersonic elf fairy, or some Bible thumper whose blows were like cannons.
But while Guts took the physical challenges in stride, his mental strife was a different story.
He had demons to deal with, literally and figuratively, always tormented by his inner beast of darkness.
Guts tried to shoulder this trauma alone, even for a time leaving behind Casca, who survived but was mentally broken. Nothing would replace the comrades Guts lost during the eclipse. However, through his resilience, he eventually saw the dangerous path he was on, and so reunited with Casca and eventually came to depend on new companions.
Including pretty boy Serpico. He doesn't look like much, but the guy is fast enough to dodge lightning at speeds over 100 times faster than sound. And Guts has kept up with him more than once.
And thanks to the witch Flora, Guts got his deadliest and riskiest asset,
Oh.
the Berserker armor.
Okay, so he's got armor.
All mental limitations. This
I forget
armor
if
gives Guts a huge amp in strength.
Dimitri
Pain means nothing to him now, and it even
has an
heals
armor-piercing
injuries on the
weapon. He
fly.
probably does.
Wait, did I say heal? What I meant was it pierces his torn flesh and broken bones together so he can fight until the actual
Or at least
last
a
drop of blood
ability.
has left his body. Man, that's hardcore.
And
Yeah.
extremely risky. Donning the armor has been nearly disastrous for him more than once.
Yeah, when he's in a stitched-up rage, the beast of darkness is gnawing on his mind, tempting him to go berserk. Bam! Title drop.
Guts' tenacity is a sight to behold. He's held back a demonic dragon, withstood being impaled, and even teamed up with a fabled demon swordsman to take down an apostle that can channel lightning.
And sliced up a cloud dude in the rawest manga panel ever. Just look at it! If that's not badass enough for you, he once killed a giant sea god from the inside.
With its
Yeah, that's cool.
Behemoth created a storm that covered it.
This kind of makes me want to read Berserk.
The kinetic energy of
I don't
such a
know.
storm is immense. Gauging the size of the island, the energy required to induce such a storm would need to exceed 600 kilotons of TNT.
Yeah, that's right. Guts gutted a sea monster whose shout was a natural disaster.
He needed to do that and much
art
more
looks
to
amazing.
reach Elfhelm, where Casca's lost sanity was finally returned. Things were looking up for the legendary Black Swordsman.
But that bastard Griffith just wouldn't leave him alone.
No matter how tragic his tale becomes, Guts will persevere for his allies, both past and present.
He has new friends, a renewed heart, a badass sword, and the last thing any man, demon, or god wants to do is mess with him. Fuck yeah!
Alright, now how are we going
This
to
episode of
approach
Death Battle is brought to you by BetterHelp.
Dimitri?
Sometimes in life you can get stuck with tough choices, and you're not sure how to move forward. Maybe you're afraid of failure, or heck, maybe you're afraid of success.
It could be your career, your relationships, your finances. It feels like the instant one problem gets solved, another 3 take its place.
And therapy can be just what you need to help you navigate those problems and stay connected to what you really value, making you happier and healthier.
Like learning how to set a proper work-life balance. I know I could certainly use less time in the lab.
Or how to set boundaries, valuing yourself while still respecting others.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. It's all online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule.
All you need to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist.
And you can switch therapists at any time for no extra charge.
Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp.
Visit betterhelp.com/deathbattle today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/deathbattle.
Sounds like both the characters
On
we're
the
talking about today need
continent of Fodlan lies
therapy.
The holy kingdom of Fargus, a knightly nation where the youth learn to swing a sword before they can
And
write
Gilbert.
their own name. Prince
Only
Dimitri
there
Alexandra Blake
because
was no exception.
The kid was a
this guy
prodigy,
can't
able to
crack
spar
it
with far
after
more
this time
experienced
goes.
warriors, in part because he was a crest bearer.
or someone gifted mystical power through the blood of the goddess Sothis. Those born with a crest gain anything from enhanced magic to superhuman strength.
At 9 years old, Dimitri could lift giant boulders, run across mountains for hours, and constantly broke swords by accident. Most elites who had a crest
Okay, I don't remember that,
massive ego, but not Dimitri.
Right, Dimitri was strong, but generally kind. Like when
And
he
is
gave
it his
childhood friend
crest is
Edelgard a
specifically
dagger, an earnest if odd gift.
strength
I got
boosting?
shotgun shells for my first crush. But life took a turn for Dimitri when a mysterious group murdered his dad and a bunch of knights, burning them all in front of him, and leaving the poor kid with some serious survivor's guilt.
Guilt that only worsened when the country of Dusker was unjustly blamed for the tragedy. Dimitri lamented that he could not stop Fargus's corrupt nobles.
Don't worry though, when those same nobles rebelled a couple years later, he fought them like a beast, slaying them all with sadistic glee.
This savage side would emerge when Dimitri was reminded of the tragedy he witnessed. Otherwise, his chivalrous charm remained forefront.
With guidance from his dead dad's buddy Rodrigue, Dimitri got into the Garrick-Mach Officers Academy, where he led the Blue Lion's house and learned the mystic arts.
Well, he's not the most proficient in it, but Dimitri did learn healing and elemental magics, able to call down lightning or even channel it through his weapons.
Letting him
He can.
tons of enemies.
I don't think you would
He learned
typically
this and
have him learn any of
everyone's
that.
favorite Smash Bros. Character, Professor Violet.
Assuming you picked Dimitri's Blue Lions when he played Fire Emblem Three Houses. We're getting a little meta here, but his story turns out very differently depending on the path chosen. Aside from the Blue Lions, there's Edelgard's Black Eagles.
And the Golden Deer, led by the crafty Claude Von Regan, aka the Best House.
That band of goofy misfits? The
Black Eagles
are
for
a
life.
far more cohesive unit.
I'm with him.
Fear the deer, Wiz.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Ashen Wolves for life,
Oh.
losers.
Well, they're pretty cool.
Jocelyn picks the gods.
Anyway, in Dimitri's route, he mastered all manner of
I respect
weaponry.
that.
Lances, swords, axes, gauntlets, and more.
Some of these weapons use magic, some use poison, and others are
Yeah.
used to slay giant monsters. But all of them made Dimitri an ace at warfare, especially when Byleth taught him some special skills.
The seal movement technique stops foes in their tracks. Frozen Lance skewers enemies with ice, and Swordbreaker boosts evasion against blade users. To top it off,
Oh, yeah, he does learn
Dimitri puts her in
Frozen
an
Lance.
awakened state for even more
Which in
power.
Fire Emblem rules
Dimitri
is
let his classmates
good
know
against
thick and
armor.
thin, but everything changed when he suspected the one behind the tragedy of Dusker was his old dagger friend, Edelgard. Dun dun dun!
To end Fodlan's oppressive crest system, Edelgard and her empire declared war on Fargus and the Church of Seros.
Dimitri could be cruel before, but after this betrayal, he snapped, vowing to kill every last one of them. For 5 years, he slaughtered the enemy, all to appease the voices that called for Edelgard's head.
He's
Yeah.
not exaggerating. Dimitri truly believes his dead loved ones cry to him, unable to know peace until he claims vengeance.
As if prince turned murderer hobo wasn't scary enough, he wields the ultimate lance, the hero's relic, Eredfar.
Forged from the bones of dragon-like Nabateans, Eredfar is much stronger than ordinary metal. It can pierce any armor with its signature move Atrocity, and only crest
Oh, yeah,
bearers
it
can
is
wield
armor.
it without mutating into a monstrous
Forgot
black
about that.
beast.
With his lance, Dimitri kept killing, but no bloodshed could calm his mind. He reached peak war crimes, torturing an enemy commander in blind rage.
But when his actions led to Rodrigue making the ultimate sacrifice, Dimitri was broken, terrified of yet another voice haunting him.
Except this time, he had his professor to help him out. We really gotta pay teachers more, y'all.
Dimitri still felt hatred for Edelgard, but looked past it to the friends and kingdom he neglected and made a choice.
Instead of killing every last one of them, he would save every last one by retaking Fargus's capital.
A task this wretch turned savior king had the strength to do.
Dimitri has dodged meteors going Mach 60, decimated a squad of soldiers with one spear throw, and defeated a wizard from the magic Illuminati.
This is Talus, whose power shook a futuristic underground city.
And Dimitri just walked through his magic like it was nothing.
Dimitri's also more than a match for Edelgard, who, in her route, bested the Archbishop of the Church of Seros, Rhea.
This is important.
Yeah,
'Cause
well,
after
she's more than a match for
Rhea
him in
survived
her
2
route, so
exploding javelins of light, aka magic nukes.
Not really worth
Jeez,
much.
And Dimitri can fight on her level?
Indeed. But in the end, despite half a decade of slaughter, Dimitri was hesitant to kill Edelgard. in part from learning she wasn't responsible for the tragedy. Still, both monarchs had ideas for Fordland that were simply incompatible.
And then Edelgard pulled a fast one with that old dagger present. Dimitri definitely felt that irony.
The war was over, and with his allies at his side, Dimitri claimed his place as a just king.
Unless, you picked a different house. His
Yeah.
story doesn't end very happy in those.
But though the voices of the dead will haunt Dimitri until his final breath, so long as he has his friends, conviction, and compassion for the living, he will find peace. This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by Mint Mobile.
It's no surprise, inflation is everywhere.
And they made a pretty good case for him. I still
And
think
if you're looking for a break, look
I don't
no
know.
farther than Mint Mobile.
I'm rooting
The
for
first
Gus.
company to sell a premium wireless service online only.
You can save a ton and order from home with plans starting at just $15 a month.
That kind of low price is exactly what we need in a time when everything is just getting more and more expensive.
It isn't sorcery. By going online only and getting rid of the traditional cost of retail, Mint Mobile can pass those savings on to you.
All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
Better yet, you can keep your current phone number and contacts, so switching over is no big deal.
To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/deathbattle.
That's mintmobile.com/deathbattle.
All right, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Alright, okay.
100 men strong. What drives your slaughter? Save the high and mighty
This one we got the
dead.
3D animation. This one's pretty cool. You never know what style they're gonna go with for the actual battle. There we go. There we go. Already got that going. I really don't think you can bring magic out for Dimitri. Like who? Like can he even use magic in his personal class?
I will tear your
sucks
head
at
from
it.
your shoulders. The dead must have their revenge.
He does have frozen lance, but basically just for like armor units. So there we go. There's the frozen lance.
Go to hell. Bastard. Avenge us.
Okay. Yeah, they both got their own thing going on.
Kill them. All of them. Down to the last one.
There we go. Ooh.
Enough of this.
Is that it? He's still going.
Still standing?
Oh.
So we're both shackled to the dead. You foul beasts will not have his soul!
Okay, well. I guess that's...
I don't know what what's scarier, Dimitri the Demon or Guts still standing there? He was a badass till the end.
Being fast enough to dodge lightning, Guts actually had a slight speed advantage over Dimitri, though skills like seal movement and swordbreaker helped Dimitri close the gap.
And while Dimitri had some minor
I
healing
guess
magic
that's
to fall
fair.
back on, it wasn't going to compete with the raw endurance from the Berserker armor.
Still, Dimitri's absurd strength and wider pool of weapons and abilities gave him plenty of ways to wear Guts down. Against Dimitri's electricity magic, Guts' sword and armor were vulnerable conductors, making every clash an opportunity to electrocute him.
Sure, Guts has defeated lightning callers before, but he needed help. Not to mention, moves like Atrocity can pierce through armored foes, bypassing half the point of wearing the Berserker armor.
Yeah, that's
Power
true,
some
but...
of Erdfar's damage, but he wasn't invincible and could not heal from fatal wounds.
Then there's both fighters' raw power. Slaying demons is really impressive, obviously, but not always on par with magic nukes.
Remember, in Edelgard's route, she defeated Rhea, who survived 2 Javelins of Light. In Dimitri's route, he defeated Edelgard while
This
she
is
was
such
a
a-
powered-up crest monster. That happened.
So, if Rhea could take on the Javelins of Light, Dimitri should be at a similar level. So, let's find
That's
out
a
how strong
pointless
the
point,
Javelin
because...
In Vodlin's lore, several Javelins decimated a forest, forming the Valley of Torment. However, the exact number of Javelins used to create the valley was never given, making the power of an individual Javelin unclear.
But we do know the Javelins in this attack were supposed to hit the Garrigmok Monastery, until the goddess Sothis noped them away and they hit the forest instead.
We also know that the Javelins of Light are not limitless, with typically no more than 6 being used at once, even against structures similar in size to Garrigmok.
So, if a similar amount were used in the attack that made the valley, each Javelin would pack a payload that's over 3 gigatons of TNT.
Even if we severely lowballed this and said the destruction was divided between 10, 50, or even 100 different Javelins of Light, surviving 2 Javelins would still be greater than the best of Guts' feats, even scaled to the Sea God. Guts' persistence meant he wouldn't go down easy, but against Dimitri's inhuman strength, devastating abilities, and fervent willpower, it was just a matter of time before the vengeful king wore through him.
Saying it makes me berserk, but Guts could only go so fargus.
The winner is Dimitri Alexandra Blythe. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, we have a new death battle releasing every 2 weeks this year. And click the join button to get new perks and extra content. Planet level members even see death battles before anyone else, so don't miss out.
Like, okay, I mean, they did explain it fairly well. Like, the Dimitri having the anti-armor weapons and Guts' thing being, his main thing being that armor. But, like, I forget, like, can he even use spells in his class? Like, maybe he can. Where's okay, starting class, that's not what I'm looking for. Where's his no, his unique class, the only class that you would actually make him. Yeah, the promotion for goddamn wiki. Get the name of the classes, otherwise that would make it a lot easier. No, you gotta fight him as that eventually. Let's see, go down for the High Lord. Is that it, or no? Great Lord, probably. That's probably his one. Because in Fire Emblem Three Houses, you're not able to use magic unless you're a class that is allowed to. I mean, he's allowed to use staves apparently, but well, I mean, so is anyone. Staves in Three Houses are just a boost. I don't think this is a class that can use spells. I don't see anything about it. So, Yeah, Dimitri personally, he can learn the Thunder spell. His magic is trash, though. He's got a D reason. You would never teach him magic. Yeah, Thunder and Thoron. A D skill level spell and a C. Like, these aren't even great attack spells. So, like, I don't think he'd be able to use it if he's the right class. And, and even if he did, with his 20% magic growth rate, I think, I mean, well, we don't know what Guts' magic defense stat, what his resistance would be in Fire Emblem rules. So, yeah. And I mean, Frozen Lance, like, that's a, which he does, wait, doesn't he even learn that? Like, this is, I don't even see. Wait, does he not learn Frozen Lance? Like, that was one of the things they had him use in this. Learned abilities. Tempest Lance. I mean, even if he does, like, his magic is so low that you would only use it on armor units, which, I mean, I guess he is, but it doesn't sound like he's a low resistance unit. So I don't know. I mean, I may not be looking at the right thing, but it just seems like some of the points there, and just the routes are so different, and so much of it depends on Byleth that I don't I don't know if I fully agree with this one. Although, again, I don't know anything about Guts and what his abilities truly are, so maybe I'm overestimating him. That's very much possible. But yeah. I don't know. You guys, let me know what you think. Anyway, hope you liked the reaction. Let me know if you did, and see you in the next one.